Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reviews from the Lighthouse. I am just out of the movie that I'm about to review. It's rare for me to want to go straight into a review after coming out of a movie. Normally, I take some time, I weigh things, I change opinions. It's part of what happens. But the thing is, this is a film that is so important, and its implications are so vast. And the fact that not enough people, in my opinion, know about it is huge. And the movie that I'm about to tell you about is the documentary Particle Fever. And the entire principle of it's a documentary about the Large Hadron Collider and everything that goes into it. And it's huge. I mean, I'll be honest. First of all, a confession. I love science. I don't always understand it. I can't math my way out of a wet paper bag. I just can't. It's just not who I am. It's not how my brain works. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you understand math. It doesn't matter if you understand science. It doesn't matter if the only things you know about atoms is that it's a hydrogen atom drawn on Dr. Manhattan's forehead in Watchmen. If that's all you know, it doesn't matter. This is still important. And you need to see it. Because the thing is, it gives you the whole history, first of all. That's the big thing. This film documents the creation and the understanding of and the everything that goes on with the Large Hadron Collider. They basically go over it. And I remember when that thing was first made, when they first started in the 2000s, I remember hearing sort of vague whispers. And then in 2008, right when I was graduating high school, suddenly everyone's in a panic because they were afraid that the damn thing's going to make a black hole. That was most of my exposure to the Large Hadron Hadron, technically. I say Hadron, but I suspect it's actually just had. That was everything that I knew about it. And then, all of a sudden, you start hearing more and more, and there's, it blew up gradually. And our understanding of the world changed so much with it, and it's spectacular. And the fact that we don't know, that so few people, that, there is so much fascinating stuff in this documentary that I had no idea about. I had no understanding of. I knew there was such, that people are looking for the Higgs boson. I had no real idea, though, of what that meant for physics. They explain that, and they explain it in terms that anyone can understand. It's awesome. And it's, even if you don't like physics, even if you hate math, even if none of that matters to you, what should matter to you, this is the product of 4,000 plus people working together and sorting and parsing and building and repairing this massive 17-mile machine. That is spectacular. And, it does, and they have no idea. These people are devoting their lives to a machine that may not answer anything. And I can practically hear people who are like, well, then why are you building it? Well, I'll tell you why. We build it because we can, because it's the primordial thing of human nature to want to understand the universe. And the fact that there are 4,000 people of every race, creed, class, color, you name it. 4,000 people who, from countries, they mention there are countries that hate each other, that have people there. They're all working together. If there's no better proof then humanity does not need to be pricks to one another, this movie proves that. We can work together to try to find the building block of the universe, then we can fucking work together to sort everything else out too. We just have to figure out how. I don't know how. Just like I don't know how, but they find out about the Higgs boson, it answers some questions, but it doesn't answer others, so... And really it raises more questions than it answers. But that's the thing. It's so important that we have these questions, that humanity keeps asking them, and that we appreciate that there are people out there asking them while the rest of us are too busy, worried about where the, whether or not we want coffee or tea for, to drink tonight. The fact that there's somebody out there who's doing this, and the fact that they do it in spite of the overwhelming odds. You have to give them props. You have to appreciate them. And, who knows what this could answer? Who knows what we'll continue to find out? The very fact, essentially one of the points they make is that physics, as we understand it, has more or less, sort of two questions to discuss with particles. And option one is that if the Higgs was light, then it turns out that, more or less, we have an orderly universe. But if the Higgs is heavy, then we have a completely chaotic multiverse. And the fact is, as they, spoiler alert, they find out that the Higgs is actually right down the middle. So who knows? Maybe everyone's talking about either or. What if it's and? We don't know. We could find out. Just imagine, for your Bioshock fans out there, we could be in a multiverse. Time could rip right down the center. And hey, there's me. There's another version of me sitting over there. Maybe she's got blue skin, or maybe, who knows, maybe she's not actually me. Maybe it's like Cthulhu over there. I don't know. We could find out. And it's so great. And, the fact of the matter is, it also, watching the film, it makes you realize the sheer stress that these scientists also work under. The fact that they're trying to build this thing, and the press constantly wants access to it. They want to know everything. Even though, the first time they're there to see it, the damn Higgs, because it's a new machine and no one's made one like this before, it didn't work. And then the scientists look bad despite the fact that it's not actually there. The only fault in play is the fact that the press is insisting on sitting on them to report on this stuff. And it's important that we know, but when don't harass scientists, for the love of God. Can we please back up and start considering these things on the virtue of what we're going to find out over long periods of time. This isn't going to be, this is not, science is not a Polaroid picture. You can't just have it right away. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a whole lot of shaking to finally shake out what exactly is the core of the universe. And, it may not matter to you what the universe is made out of, and that's okay. But the thing is, you should at least know. We should at least try. And the fact that you don't care should not detract from the fact that other people do. And the thing is, you probably, my viewer, you probably do care. And the fact that other people do not is so sad. And that, one of the things, I'm going to be reviewing another film shortly. I went to see The Quiet Ones, and this has nothing to do with The Quiet Ones at all. But the thing was, I was in the theater, and I'm waiting to get my ticket, and I look up at the marquee, and they've got, and there's all these there's a couple of different films up, and one of them is called Heaven is Real. Now, I haven't seen it. I do know the plot, though. The plot being that there's some little boy who goes into a coma, or basically has a near-death experience, and claims to come back with, basically an understanding of the divine, or, basically that he considers heaven to be real. He's seen heaven. And this film was completely sold out. Completely. And the thing is, that's great. Religion is great. I do believe in a higher power. I will say that. I'm not going to say anything more about it because it's nobody's business other than me. But here's the thing. The fact that this movie is sold completely out. Meanwhile, when in Particle Fever, I was in a fairly large theater. It's an art film, so it's not the biggest theater by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a pretty big theater. And there was a handful of people there. A handful of people care enough about science, about the search for the origins of the world. Only a handful of people have bothered to come. Everyone, meanwhile, there's people lining up. There's people selling out movies about near-death experiences, which science, to various degrees, is proving more and more often are side effects of how the human brain works. That doesn't mean that there isn't God, but it does mean that you have to balance the two. That's the thing. I'm a history graduate. This is what I've studied. One of the things that I studied when I was in school was the relationship between religion and science, and the attitude that I think a lot of religious aspects is and continues to be is that religion or science is the handmaid of religion. But here's the thing: neither one is the offspring of the other. The reality is both of them are offspring from the intrinsic human desire to understand where we come from, and how you use that, it's how you decide to use your knowledge of the universe. And try to understand it. And the fact is, neither one, in my opinion, is wrong. But if you as a religious person, if your religious beliefs basically dictate that you care more about, a near-death experience than you care about the fact that there are scientists who are desperately trying to understand the way the world works, there is something deeply wrong, and I don't want to polarize people, but it's so important. Why aren't there more people clamoring to go see Particle Fever? What is wrong with everything that I was one of the few people there. It's a vital, important story on so many levels, and not just about how the universe works, but it's also about how people work and how we can work together. It's everything. And it's so vital, and I loved it, and more people need to see it. If I had my way, I would, distribute tickets to the universe. I would be raining DVDs of or downloads across the internet, so that everyone can see and understand how far we have come, and what amazing things we have done, and how much further we still have to go, and how amazing the universe is. I see no particular contradiction in terms. If you're religious, go see this movie. If you're a-religious, go see this movie. If you love science, see this movie. If you hate science, see this movie. If you think scientists are all like the Mythbusters, see this movie. If you think scientists are all wear white and are buttoned up to their chin, see this movie. Everyone should see this movie. And that is all there is to say. Because in seeing this movie, you will learn something. It doesn't matter what you learn, but you will learn something, and that is the most important part of anything. Really. All of humanity. Why are we here? We learn. That's, at the very least, that is something we do. Okay, that's it for today. I will be reviewing probably The Quiet Ones next. And thank you, everyone, for viewing, subscribing, what have you. If you want more access to some of my written reviews, look, I will be posting links to my Tumblr below. Click the subscribe, tell your friends, argue about this, yell at each other, comment, have a good day. But do fucking see Particle Fever, because it's the best thing ever.